Hey there, my name is Guidry, and today I'm going to be talking with you about how to handle mistakes in your business. Mistakes are going to happen as wedding photographers, as photographers in general, and so I hope that this can help you navigate that situation when, unfortunately, it will arise at some point. Before we dive into the content today, I want you to know that we have a free posing and pricing guide available for you if you're interested, so be sure to check that out in the link in the description. A few years ago, I decided to start a podcast called Mistakes Make Magic. The reason why was because I realized that mistake making was inevitable in business. It's something that's just going to happen at some point. And what I quickly learned was that everyone I interviewed, no matter how long they had been doing business, no matter the type of business that they did, everyone eventually made mistakes, and there are some really good ways to handle that and some not so good ways to handle that. And so that's what I'm going to be talking with you today about. The first piece of advice that I'm going to share with you is to give yourself time. When a mistake occurs, when it's brought to your attention and someone acknowledges that they're not happy or that something maybe isn't right, I want you to give yourself time to think. Think through the situation. I think our tendency is, especially as people pleasers, is to just very quickly rush into the situation and try to fix it or defend ourselves or feel all the emotions. But I really want to encourage you to take a step back and just sit with it. Think through it. Plan. When you've given yourself appropriate time, that's when you're going to take action. If you feel like you are going to need an amount of time and the client is asking you to respond right away, you can even let them know that your email has been received and that they can expect to hear from you within a certain amount of time. That will give you the time and the space that you need in order to really sit in your feelings and plan moving forward. With that being said, don't delay the response too long. When something doesn't go right, I would definitely not suggest waiting longer than 24 hours to get back to the client. I want you to put yourself on the other side of that situation. If you were in a position where you were unhappy or you felt like something wasn't right, you're going to want to hear back right away, right? You're going to want to know that you're heard, and you're going to want to start to mitigate that situation right away. And so 24 hours is a reasonable amount of time, but if you feel like you can get back with them sooner, then do that. When it's time to actually connect with that client one-on-one, listen. Don't interrupt. Don't rush to defend yourself or make your case. Just listen. Let them go over what went wrong, what their feelings are, and all the things that they've been thinking about, even before probably reaching out to you. One thing that I didn't necessarily mention, but whenever I'm talking about listening, obviously I'm talking about being on a phone call or some sort of in-person meeting. And so I do think that is the best way to handle situations when they get a little sticky. Sometimes things can get lost in translation in messages and emails. And so anytime something has been confusing or it kind of felt like maybe it was leading to a problem in the business, I've always jumped on a phone call with the client, and I've absolutely never regretted it. It's always been the right decision. When it comes to resolving the issue, I want you to have a solution in mind, but ultimately be inquiring with them about what they feel would be a solution to the problem. Oftentimes, we feel like we need to fix what's going on or, tell them what needs to be done, but they may have already come up with a solution, something that's very simple or something that's even different from what you were thinking about. So when it comes to the solution making, just like I said to listen before when they're talking about the problem, you want to inquire, what do they want to see happen in order to make it right? Okay, so at this point, you've worked through the problem together, you've listened to them, you've inquired about solutions, and this may be a point in the conversation where you're feeling really discouraged. Maybe you're feeling down and upset, and trust me, I've been there before, but at this point, just don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Don't be so sad that you take on all those feelings and don't feel like you can move forward. Try to get in that mindset of working through it and getting to the other side so that you can walk away with a happy client. And so at that point in the conversation, when you've heard from them, try to keep your spirits high. Try to remember that this is fixable. Most things in life are fixable, even if they're not replicable. Oftentimes there is something that you can do to make the solution at least a little bit better. And so once you've gotten to that point, just gather yourself together and be confident in the fact that you can move through that with the client and get to the other side of that. Okay, so now you have to get to work. The client's given you a solution, you've agreed, you've said, okay, yes, I think this can work. Let's move forward with that solution. If that solution involves some sort of work, for example, maybe the client wanted some additional editing, I want you to really prioritize this client. Even though it's probably the last thing that you want to work on, anytime something isn't going well, we feel some type of way in our stomach and we feel like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I don't really want to work on this right now, but prioritize this client. This client is one that, if you can resolve it well, will walk away feeling even stronger and more positively towards your business than a client who never had any issues at all, believe it or not. Think about a friendship or a relationship where, you've had an argument or something that maybe didn't go right. When you work through that, you come out on the other side stronger and better than before. And so when it comes to that client, if you've gotten a solution, go ahead and prioritize that. Get it done as quickly as possible so that you can come back to the client and let them know, hey, I prioritized the issue, I was able to resolve it, and here's the end result. If you're a wedding photographer and you worked with a planner, maybe that planner was the one who referred you. And to be honest, the planner's probably heard about the issue already. Oftentimes, when there's a wedding planner, that person sort of becomes the mediator. And so that client may have already reached out to the planner, but I want you to keep in mind that the planner, you don't want to make this their problem. You want to stand strong on your own as the business owner, as the photographer, and resolve that issue directly with the client. Yes, keep the planner in the loop. Let them know, hey, I've talked to the client. This is the solution that we've come up with. I just wanted to let you know that I'm working on it and I will keep you posted. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to go to the planner and make them the middleman, where you're kind of like putting them sandwiched between the problem. You want to keep them informed, let them know that you're working it out with the client, and then when it is resolved, circle back to them too. And that leads me into my next point. When the issue is resolved, because you're going to resolve it, you're going to get to a solution, I want to encourage you to not badmouth that client. It is very tempting when you're feeling down about things to screen grab it and post it on a forum or send it out in a text message or talk about it with your friends and your other photographer buddies. When it comes to these sensitive situations, especially ones that are highly emotional, I want you to keep it in-house. Work through it within the business. If you have a business partner or maybe one business bestie that you truly trust, you can confide in them for advice and have them sort of be a sounding board and someone who can encourage you when you're feeling down about this. However, don't go and spread the name of this person to other people or even talk about the situation. All that's going to do is really amplify how you're feeling in a negative way, and it's going to potentially negatively impact your business too, because you're going to have people talking about it and seeing that negative post or forum or whatever the case may be. And so don't badmouth your client. Work through it. Know that in the end, you are doing the best that you can to make it right. If you need to seek counsel from people, really think about who you're seeking that counsel from, where you're searching for that information. Is it a trusted source, someone that you know is experienced and can help you, and also someone that's going to keep that confidential? I think that's a really important one to note. And lastly, don't let this situation get you down. It is very common when things don't go right to play that one situation or think about that one client over and over and feel like you want to just give up. But remember that we all go through instances in our business where things aren't going to go perfectly. I've been photographing for almost 15 years now, and I can say that unfortunately we have had some situations where we had to work through things with clients together. But I can also say that because I've followed these steps and these things that I'm sharing with you today, those clients did walk away over the moon happy, and we were able to reconnect and just feel excited about the event together. As I mentioned before, when you're able to work through something together, and I've seen this firsthand, that client may become your biggest raving fan. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to check out our free guides in the link. Subscribe if you enjoy this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in today.